Hey everyone, this is Karen Waksman, founder of Retail MBA. Today I want to talk about selling to O'Reilly Auto Parts. So if you have a great consumer product that you think should be in their stores, this little training will give you some things to think about in regards to selling to O'Reilly Auto Parts. With that said, let's get started with today's training. When you have an auto aftermarket product or an auto accessory product, you definitely want to explore O'Reilly Auto Parts. Why? They have over 5,900 stores that they're responsible for. That is tremendous buying power. That is more than most chains around. If you are trying to make big money in this space, O'Reilly Auto Parts is definitely one to consider. So, they also own a retail chain called Orma Stores, which is 28 stores. And the reason I mention this is because if they're owned by the same company, then what you want to do is definitely explore selling to O'Reilly's Auto Parts and or sell to Orma stores because they both share the same supplier website. What that means is if you want to submit your product to become a vendor for a retailer, what they do is they have to fill out a bunch of paperwork and then they submit you as a vendor if they're interested in your product. A lot of times, major retailers don't feel like filling out the paperwork for new products if it's not proven or they're a little concerned about whether or not it will make them money. So they basically usually say no sometimes just because of the paperwork. With that said, when you're trying to sell to an O'Reilly's and they're maybe not purchasing from you, you could go to their alternative retailer, which is under the same brand name, in this case, Orma, and try to become a vendor for that retailer. When you do that, you get submitted into their vendor portal, and then you can go back to O'Reilly Auto Parts and see if they would be willing to add you as a vendor then. The reason we say this is because O'Reilly is a retailer that is someone that people really want to sell into. And in your case, there's a lot of competition. So when you go to, say, an Orma where they have a lot less stores, not as much competition, and you can become a vendor for them, then you can go back to O'Reilly's and let them know, I'm already in your system as a vendor. Perhaps you can actually give me an opportunity to work with you because you don't have to fill out much paperwork, essentially, is one way to do it. This is the same as if you're trying to sell to Macy's and Bloomingdale's. They're owned by the same corporation. There's many retailers that own a bunch of different retailers under one brand name. And a lot of times this happens where they own, since they're owned by the same company, they are actually utilizing the same vendor portals. And if that's the case, then you could definitely go to the buyer and offer them this strategy because they love it when they don't have to fill out paperwork. So it's something to consider. It's not a guarantee, but it's definitely something to explore. The other thing about O'Reilly Auto Parts is if you're having trouble selling to them, one thing you could consider is definitely selling to them private label. Private label is a way for them to be able to buy your product under their corporate owned name. What that basically means is if you are interested in selling to them, but you don't care if your name is all over the box or the packaging, that means that they could conceivably go and buy your product from you and the packaging would be under their brand name. So again, if you don't mind that your name is not on the box, private label could be a great way to go. If you walk into their stores, there's a lot of different products there that are under the O'Reilly Auto Parts brand. And the reason they do that is because their customers like consistency, they like good prices and so forth. And so private label is something that this retailer does very well. So what that looks like is O'Reilly Auto Parts would be interested in your product. If they say yes under the private label division, then you would seriously sell your products to them on a massive scale. And they would ultimately tell you where to go get the packaging, and the packaging would be theirs. And I know people who make many, many, many millions of dollars every single year just selling private label to these retail stores. And so that could be a really great angle for you if you're willing to put your name never on the packaging. And so that's something to consider. The final thing is is that you can sell your product to O'Reilly Auto Parts, but they might reject you simply because they're an auto retailer and they're very niche. So all of your competitors are reaching out to them. The reason why I say this is because sometimes when they're a niche retailer, it's kind of a little bit harder for you to get them interested in you until you have major proven sales and or they have an opening, because these are generally not huge stores. And so it tends to be a little bit harder to sell into O'Reilly's Auto Parts. You should obviously try to go after them, but it does happen where it's a little bit more complicated to sell to a niche retailer. Our recommendation is to try to sell to O'Reilly Auto Parts. If they reject you, don't feel bad. Just know it's very common that a niche retailer says no to you because they're seeing the best of every type of product. And instead, go to any other retailer that sells auto accessories, sell your product to them, and then go back to O'Reilly Auto Parts and let them know that you got products into a chain store. Why? Because they love proven products, proof of sales, and so forth. And a lot of times you guys get so obsessed with only selling to the auto stores that you don't think about selling to other retailers that sell auto parts stuff, like a lot of times Walmart and Target and lots of other retailers sell auto accessories, and that could be a great additional revenue stream for you. And then you can go back to O'Reilly Auto Parts and let them know that you got products into stores. And ultimately, that will always help you get into stores. Our goal is to just tell you that just because you really want to sell to them, at first, they might reject you just because they see every product out there in your category. So go beyond just the auto parts accessory stores and try to get your products moving, and then go back to these retailers, and they love proven products. If you want to learn how to approach, pitch, and sell to O'Reilly Auto Parts and other retail chains similar to this, please take a look at the links below in regards to Retail MBA, which is our brand. We help people get their products into big retailers and would love to support you in your quest of selling to auto parts throughout the country. With that said, take a look at the link below. If you like this information, please like, comment, subscribe, keep in touch with us, and take a look for the additional videos that we create. This is Karen Waksman, Retail MBA. We really appreciate you. Thanks so much.